July 18, Thursday. This is Bitcoin TV channel. I am Michael. Let's take a look at the 24-hour data headlines of the cryptocurrency circle. Last week, there was news that the US SEC issued a statement to inform asset management institutions that Ethereum spot will be on July 23rd. ETF is listed for trading. This is 5 days later than the previous prediction of going online today. Today, we will take a look at a key indicator of Ethereum, the change trend of wallet addresses holding more than 32 Ethereum. In the past 6 months, the number of wallet addresses holding more than 32 Ethereum has been continuously decreasing. In the rising cycle of Ethereum, the address decline trend is more obvious, basically inversely related to the price trend. In the past 2 months, the number of this address has obviously begun to stabilize, and in July, which is getting closer to the key event node, there has been a slight rebound, and the market has begun to have a small hoarding behavior. This is undoubtedly a good thing for the price of Ethereum. In the short term, Ethereum will be stronger than Bitcoin. There are less than 5 days left before the expected Ethereum ETF listing. Is the capital flow in the market stable? In the past week, the total market value of stablecoins has increased from $153.6 billion to $154.2 billion, an increase of about $600 million. Among them, the market value of stablecoin USDT has increased from $112.2 billion to $112.9 billion, an increase of about $700 million. In addition, the market value of USDC has decreased by $200 million, falling to $33.9 billion. The overall funds have not obviously entered the market and are relatively stable. The short-term sentiment has not brought in too much off-site funds. Most of them are small bottom fishing or replenishment of wait-and-see funds in the market, which has pushed up the price rebound. The market is still undercurrent, and it is still necessary to maintain a vigilant investment mentality. Don't just focus on short-term benefits and ignore potential risks. With the rebound of the market in the past week, the number of profitable addresses of Bitcoin has soared sharply. Here we need to pay attention to the connection between the price trend and the number of profitable addresses. The number of profitable addresses around $64,000 is still slightly higher than the current $64,000. The number of profitable addresses in US dollars is not as profitable as before, despite the recent increase in funds and users. This shows that there are still many investors in the market who have taken profits and fled, and the number of users who cut their losses does not seem to be as large as those who took profits and fled. This is not a very good sign. The market continues to sell and everyone is unwilling to sell their chips. The market may continue to force the chips. However, there are favorable short-term gains. Investors must consider their investment cycle before investing. Strategic decision-making. Okay, please like and follow us. We will help you sort out the news closest to money in the 24-hour currency circle, chain circle, and mining circle. As a long-established international financial center, Hong Kong has always adopted a relatively open and inclusive attitude towards virtual currency. The Hong Kong government has also always hoped to build Hong Kong into a leader in the encryption industry, hoping to protect the rights and interests of investors and attract talents and capital in the field of cryptocurrency by establishing clear rules and systems and clarifying regulatory requirements. Stablecoins are the basis for the exchange of real currencies in the industry, and for this reason, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority have conducted a 2-month public consultation on stablecoin legislation. The information
Today, the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority released the conclusions on the formulation of local stablecoin-related legislation and announced the results of the stablecoin legislation consultation. According to the survey, most people responded in agreement, and the proposed regulatory requirements and implementation arrangements were generally supported by the respondents. Subsequently, the two financial institutions followed up with preliminary legislative proposals to establish a new regulatory framework for Hong Kong's legal reference stablecoin FRS issuers. The key part of the proposal is to require all FRS issuers to obtain a license from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority also stated that it will continue to work with other regulators to jointly build a consistent virtual asset regulatory framework in Hong Kong to avoid regulatory arbitrage. Most respondents support the requirement that the total value of the reserve assets of the fiat stablecoin must maintain full reserves at all times, and agree that this is a core element to support the stability mechanism of the stablecoin.
Try to see what is the better regulation we can put in place to ensure that this sector can grow in a responsible and sustainable manner.
It should be noted that Hong Kong does not regard virtual currency as legal tender or financial instruments, but defines it as a virtual asset. It often takes corresponding regulatory measures based on the activities and risks involved. Hong Kong's regulatory authorities have been actively paying attention to and strictly supervising the digital asset industry. 2 days ago, the Securities and Futures Commission of Hong Kong also included 7 unlicensed cryptocurrency trading platforms on the warning list. Hong Kong has been trying to find the best route between balancing market development and protecting investors, but due to the unclear nature of the crypto industry, this is not an easy task. If Hong Kong wants to take the path of compliance supervision, then stablecoin legislation is only the beginning. It is also a good thing for investors in the currency circle to improve regulatory laws and regulations. After all, this makes the rules of the game clearer, right? In this way, we can get involved. In the cryptocurrency world, every pullback and shock breeds new opportunities. Today, the market seems to have entered such a golden crosspoint. The stabilization after a sharp pullback echoes the dovish signal of the Federal Reserve, and the bullish sentiment is like a wild horse running wild. In this wave, we must not only keep an eye on all directions, but also hold the chips in hand and prepare for the upcoming feast of wealth. The recent good opportunities come from our stable term arbitrage project, Bewin. The so-called term arbitrage is to buy spot and add contracts to hedge the risk of spot decline and achieve the purpose of profit by eating the funding rate. And this stable income accounts for the vast majority of the funds. Without saying too much, let's take a look at our previous 80-term profit situation. At present, we have achieved more than 20% of the income. We have tested Bewin for so long, and it has also given us a very satisfactory report card, so we recently launched a new Bewin product, +1.
At the end after Bewin 11th stable investment, which raised 471,174.44392 U in 10 days, Bewin will start its first attempt at a 1-year stable financial product, Bewin +1, with a total amount of 500,000 yuan. The minimum investment threshold for each investment address is 1,000 GU, and there is no upper limit. Under the premise of a 20% drawdown, the estimated annualized return will reach 50% or even higher, and there will be no middlemen to make a profit. Bewin +1 will be officially launched at 8 p.m. Beijing time tonight, so hurry up if you want to get on board.
Our members have followed us for 11 issues of Being, and everyone is quite familiar with Being's strategy. Just imagine how many people in the currency circle can obtain a long-term, safe and effective annualized rate of return of 30% through arbitrage strategies. Buying is a project we recommended last year. As a Web3 company that entered the currency circle in 2017, officially operated as a company in 2021, ranked second in the world in Binance's 1000 Group War, and also holds a Hong Kong compliance license, Being's strict asset management model has made them famous in the currency circle. Unfortunately, their arbitrage strategy is generally only used for large customers and institutions. Retail investors do not accept retail investment because of their small capital volume. However, under our efforts, the buying team gave us the green light, and what we didn't expect was that every issue was not disappointing. So in order to advance the rights and interests of members, we specially opened this new annual product. Everyone must lock in our live broadcast room tonight and participate. In July 2022, the cryptocurrency market was still in a bear market, with the price of Bitcoin fluctuating between $18,000 and $19,000, and many companies experienced lows. At that time, Bloomberg Businessweek Chinese edition ingeniously chose Zhao Changpeng, the founder of Binance, as the focus of the cover story of the 250th issue and published an in-depth article to analyze the many controversial whirlpools that Binance has been involved in since its founding. The cover title is particularly eye-catching, with 8 large characters, Zhao Changpeng's Ponzi scheme, which is particularly thought-provoking. 2 years later, on the occasion of Binance's 7th anniversary, Bloomberg Chinese made a public apology for the incident.
After 2 years, Bloomberg Chinese recently announced that a serious mistake was made in the 250th issue of Bloomberg Businessweek Chinese edition, publishing a false and unfounded cover title, and said that the article was withdrawn. In response, a Binance spokesperson said that he was pleased to see that the erroneous accusation could be withdrawn. In addition to finally waiting for the public apology and justice from the Chinese version of Bloomberg Businessweek, Binance has also received good news in other events in recent months. Recently, in a ruling by a U.S. federal court, the judge dismissed the U.S. SEC's allegation that BNB tokens are securities.
I think just because a group of businesses, centralized exchanges, gets regulated doesn't mean that we remove the ethos of decentralization. So in a decentralized world, there will be pockets of people that, people should be free to do whatever they want.
Yes, the cause of decentralization will not stop because a company is sanctioned, it will only make us work harder. In the industry's view, this judgment is not only against Binance, but also recognizes that the SEC has significant limitations on its regulatory authority over the cryptocurrency industry. With it comes a clearer and more predictable regulatory environment for the cryptocurrency industry, which undoubtedly enhances industry confidence and is expected to promote its further development. Last week was the 7th anniversary of Binance. Although Binance has been developing rapidly and has continued to be controversial, it is still firmly in the leading position of the exchange. For the top cryptocurrency companies that have been at the forefront of public opinion time and time again, as more truth and detail surface, cryptocurrency is accelerating its destigmatization. Through specific people such as Zhao Changpeng, the public can see more of the underlying logic of the operation of companies such as Binance. For top players such as Binance, after experiencing the darkest moment, they are constantly walking out of the swamp and ushering in the stability and grandeur after surviving the disaster. After the US SEC approved the first phase of the Ethereum ETF, the price of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin rose from 0.045 to around 0.05. The ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin, that is, the number of Bitcoins required to buy one Ethereum, shows that a higher ratio is more favorable to Ethereum, indicating that the value of Ethereum is higher than Bitcoin. In recent days, news from all parties seems to have confirmed that the Ethereum ETF will be listed for trading next Tuesday. This may be the most certain one in recent times. Although we cannot be 100% sure of the time, the market is almost certain that it will be listed sooner or later. Therefore, we may now focus on the largest areas and projects in the Ethereum ecosystem.
CoinGecko 数据显示 Layer 2 生态代币最近7日涨幅在 2% 到 8% 不等，同时 LSD 生态代币最近7日涨幅在 6% 至 20% 不等。此外 DeFi 生态代币最近7日涨幅最高的是 MK2 达 30%。与此同时，据美国 SEC 官方网站最新发布的官方文件揭示， SEC 已正式批准灰度的现货以太坊迷你 ETF 上市，并授权了灰度以太坊迷你信托以及 ProShares 以太坊 ETF 股份的相关规则变更。针对此消息，彭博社的高级 ETF 分析师詹姆斯·塞法特指出，这一举措标志着迷你以太坊 ETF 有望在市场上与其他 ETF 产品同步亮相。
After the US SEC approved the first phase of the Ethereum ETF, the price of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin rose from 0.045 to around 0.05. The ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin, that is, the number of Bitcoins required to buy one Ethereum, shows that a higher ratio is more favorable to Ethereum, indicating that the value of Ethereum is higher than Bitcoin. In recent days, news from all parties seems to have confirmed that the Ethereum ETF will be listed for trading next Tuesday. This may be the most certain one in recent times. Although we cannot be 100% sure of the time, the market is almost certain that it will be listed sooner or later. Therefore, we may now focus on the largest areas and projects in the Ethereum ecosystem. Livermore, the most famous financial speculator in the United States in the 20th century, invented the law of least resistance, which helped him make a profit of $135 million from investment at the age of 52. The law of least resistance, in plain words, means that as long as you follow the trend, you will generate huge inertia. So how can we follow the trend? There are 2 steps. First, do anything. Start with the least resistance event. Change the goal from improving cognition every day to the least resistance event. Read 5 pages of books every day. Change losing 15 pounds in 2 months to the least resistance event and take a 5-minute walk after a meal. Second, how can you quickly find your own least resistance event? You only need to remember one principle. Anything that is effortless and can be started immediately is your least resistance event. Okay, the above is the main content of today's program. Our channel focuses on valuable news in the currency circle, chain circle, and mining circle. There are news information and in-depth special reports. If you think our channel is valuable, you are welcome to forward and follow it. You can also become our member. Let us become rich together and add a zero to our assets in the bull market. See you tomorrow.